going live?
No, you are, right?
We are
Hey!
live.
Are we
Impact
going
Live.
live? Are we?
That's
Good
right.
morning, everybody. We are live across the world. We are live in Texas, in the Houston area, as well as Louisiana, and right on Smart Money Culture TV, as well as Crypto Cake on YouTube, my LinkedIn, X, one of my favorite places on Networks Manager. Sir David Porter, how are you?
I'm fantastic. That's right, Bruce. This is Impact Live Money in the Morning, where we talk big money, we talk centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, and we're looking at the latest and greatest in your financial resources.
Well, it's a pretty interesting day. We have a lot going on. With the world is going crazy, as you see, even in our title, right? Trump wins Iowa. He wins the Iowa caucus. Iran bombs the Mossad in Iraq, and Qatar stops the Red Sea shipments. I mean, there's a lot going on here, and how that affects your money is important, because trust me, these things do affect your money. Sometimes they have a ripple down effect on how it works. But quite a big night for Trump and the MAGA movement yesterday, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big win for him. Of course, he's always trying to be stopped, and to pull through on the first caucus of the election year, it's a huge statement, and of course, it's huge, or however he says it.
It's huge.
Yeah, and saw him coming off his airplane 3:30 a.m. over there. You know, he's a hard-working guy. He has tremendous energy, and he really pushes the American people first momentum. And so we're pretty excited overall if you are into that. So big win, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, we are supposed to be, middle of the line here, okay? Whatever you guys want to do is fine. And I think, the main thing is that, for a lot of what went on, it's been a crazy time, and it's been a crazy few years. So I think that it seems like the will of the people is going to prevail. And I mean, isn't that the point?
That is the point, and there is a difference between we, the people of America, and your local citizens. It's something to look into, to do a lot of research, and to really delve into this rabbit hole that has been created over the last century.
It's a rabbit hole, David says, and it's true though. It's more like a century and a half, going back to 1864, 1860s. It's crazy, and we have this corporation, part of a corporation, guys. The republic
Corporation.
really ceased to exist, and that's part of the problem. And I know it's hard to get your head around, because it took me years too. David's been telling me this for years. I'm like, oh, David, really?
Yes, I spent the summer on it, and I tried to get as much information to stick as possible.
Well, the thing is that it's easy to know some of the truth. It's hard to know all the truth, right? So it's easy to know some of the truth, but then it's hard to know all the truth. And that's why you also have to keep an open mind. You have to keep an open mind to what's going on, because at my age, I can tell you, especially, you don't know all the truth all the time. I don't know all the truth.
No, and
Maybe I
intuition is
know all the truth.
Bo knows.
Oh, knows. My nickname is Bo.
Intuition is a powerful thing, and you should try to follow your real gut feeling and figure these type of things out.
Intuition is a powerful thing. Follow your intuition to figure these things out. Good words from David Porter there. So some of the headlines, as I mentioned, the Iranian regime, Iran has bombed a big bomb. They are not joking big bomb in Iraq. Here, I have a video of that here queued up. This is the aftermath of this big bomb here. You see these bombs over in here. I'll share this real quick. You see these big bombs over in Israel and Lebanon and these places, and the Gazans or whoever else they send over. I mean, it looks like firecrackers. Let's be honest, comparatively. And then boom, Israel, U.S., bombs them, and then this looks more like the aftermath of one of our bombs. This is a serious missile. I'll play that one more time. The missile used was this thing here, the Khyber Shekin missile, and that is a big old missile, and it did some big damage. Knocked out, from what the Iranians say, the Mossad headquarters of what they were running all their operations out of in Iraq. Iraq, since what we did years ago, taking out their whole system there, has been a bit of a mess.
Yeah,
with all types of different factions, it seems like, operating in there. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. And I always hate to see people getting bombed and dying. It's really, we need to work as a people for peace. The peace will come, but those types of things that's no good. We also had yesterday, which I didn't include in the post thing, but the Houthis, I guess, bombed one of under an American flag anyway, one of our ships. It's a cargo ship, and if I can grab that video, cue it up here real quick, I'll do it. But this is, this is going to continue to happen. I mean, and so now Qatar has decided that they are going to stop natural gas shipments through the Red Sea. The Qataris, they don't play around. These guys, they're no dummies. And let me see here. I think I got the video queued up there. Let me share my screen. So you can see here that, this unrest as well it plays heck in the markets normally. It sometimes will make things go, which of course will bring Matt on here. You can see, yeah, that's going to be a complete loss, I think, there. I don't know if the ship made it or not, or if it's tanked.
That's maiden voyage.
That's something. Is that the name of it, or are you just saying maiden voyage?
Like Mayday.
Mayday is right. Yeah. So that's going to continue. I think that the military solution there is going to be, Yemen. There's not much there to bomb. From the Saudi Arabians have been bombing Yemen for a long time. I don't think there's that many targets left. So you have some people in there, and they're going to go out and they're going to cause problems. And that's what they believe in. And I think that's what we need to kind of keep in mind, guys, is that all what they're doing is they're enforcing an embargo of the Red Sea because they want the killing to stop in Israel. And up till a couple of days ago, and you can, whatever side you want to go on in this thing, they haven't really killed anybody. I don't think they killed anybody on that thing anyway. And they're using missiles, so I mean, of course, some of them are being intercepted, but they wanted to stop the killing. And it's like Qatar said when they stopped this shipments of natural gas over there, but that's going to affect a lot of heating prices and stuff like that in the area. But and other types of things. But they said the military solution is not going to work over here. And so in the end, we're all going to need to talk to each other. And so I would push peace, as we always do. We need to push peace, guys. It's really about peace. We want peace. And our kids want peace. And we're only around for a little longer. And we need peace. We need peace. So The bombing of the Mossad headquarters, I think, is a big deal. I think Qatar stopping Red Sea shipments of natural gas is a big deal. These things are big deal. Trump winning Iowa was a big deal. Let's face it. Nobody really knew if some funny business was going to happen, right? Or if he was going to win. And of course,
I mean, we had to watch those mail-in ballots like hawks, huh?
Well, so we didn't have to worry about that in this time around because they don't use that. The way the Iowa caucus works, they all come and they caucus. But he had won. They were predicting him as the winner literally 15 or 20 minutes into the whole thing. So that was pretty much a done deal. What'll be interesting is the other places. Now, of course, Vivek drops out. He has decided to join the Trump campaign. I think, I don't know if officially, not officially, but I think he's going to be stumping for Trump. And that's going to be interesting too. Vivek is a really smart guy. He's smart.
I mean, he's slick and he's smart and he talks very well.
He's slick, David says. He's a slick tiger. He's slick and he's smart and he talks really well.
That's how Obama did it too, huh?
Oh, draws the Obama, pulls out the Obama card.
I mean, I'm not falling for it.
Dow futures are down 186 points. That would tend to point to a low day on the markets today. I think, if there's one thing that we saw is that when they were pushing Biden, they really pumped the heck out of the markets. And when Trump was winning, actually, it wasn't until I think he was in that the markets really responded. But they really don't want Trump in. So the markets could respond poorly if Trump continues to win. It'll be interesting to see. So Dow Jones is down about a half a point on Dow futures. Bitcoin is up a little bit, but it's down 42,927. It's up about almost a point though. It's still trading. I don't see big movement. Ethereum's holding pretty nicely. Solana doing up 2 points. Everybody, of course, loves to pile in on XRP. I don't know what XRP is going to do. We'll see. They might just take everyone's money as they do. Let's pull in Matt. Matt Dixon. Sir Matt.
Good morning.
Morning, David. Morning, Bruce. Morning, everybody.
How are you?
But interesting day on the markets. So I'm really looking forward to having a little look today at some of the big winners and losers. Not necessarily in the traditional assets, but certainly in some of the commodities that we'll look at. I'll just have a very quick look through. I mean, what you said about the geopolitics that you've been talking about. There's an awful lot going on now, isn't there, in the Middle East? That bombing of the Mossad headquarters, that was serious. So I'm assuming you can probably see my screen now, can you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, here's the S&P 500. So what's interesting is we're coming out day by day, and you may start to notice now that the calls I'm giving are actually pretty accurate. And that's based on fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and also a lot of AI stuff that comes out from our eBay platform. So that's really powerful. And as I say, that's going to get a massive upgrade next week. So I'm going to come out and tell you so much more about that and how it can help you with your trading and with your portfolio building. But looking at the S&P, yesterday we had already signaled that we're likely to get a pull down on the S&P, and that's precisely what happened. This line was in, you can check yesterday's chart. The line was already in yesterday telling us that we're expecting some further downside. And I think this is just a triple correction, basically an ABC. So I think there's a C wave lower to come. So potentially a bit of negativity in risk assets like the S&P. So let's have a look what could be driving that. I mean, again, I focused a lot the other day on the oil price, and clearly oil price is pushing up a little bit now. We've seen a bit of a push up because of tensions in the Middle East. Not so much on economic strength, because the things that would push oil price up would be strength in the economy, and we're not really seeing a great deal of that right now. Yes, the US economy is showing to be fairly resilient, but we're not seeing great strength that would drive demand. But we are seeing some changes in production, potentially from Saudi Arabia, with all of the tensions that are going on. They were, they're going to affect the oil price, supply and demand, obviously the two sides of the equation. So we can see here oil prices pushing up, but how is that, what's really driving the markets, I think, is dollar index. Now, I showed you this one yesterday that we just tipped above this quite long-term parallel trend line that we've got drawn in here for the DXY.
Wow.
So, yeah, what a serious pump that is. And that is quite a negative sign, because it means there's risk in the market. People are heading back to the US dollar. We didn't have any particular news out. I checked all the news feeds from yesterday, the economic releases and so on, and there's nothing in particular that drove that. So clearly, I think it is a bit of risk in the market that people are seeing. And once again, this was expected. We finished a 5-wave move down. I think this was an A wave up. We've got some kind of B wave to the side and probably a C wave higher before potentially we get a further push down. So I'm still quite positive, slightly longer term, on these risk assets, on cryptocurrencies and risk assets. But short term, we saw this coming, and this being inverse to risk assets. So when we see dollar strengthen, it just means money's flowing out of risk assets into what's safe haven, basically into the US dollar safe haven. And that's why we're seeing this. It's a really strong pump, isn't it, there in the US dollar?
It is indeed.
Yeah, and we can see all the other assets are suffering a little bit, a bit of a pullback, and that was to be expected with that ETF approval that we had. Oh, wasn't it shocking yesterday with what Gary Gensler came out with, saying, it's really begrudgingly, not even saying that anything positive, just saying we don't approve or disapprove of Bitcoin. This wasn't a sign of approval or disapproval. Basically, it's just saying we're kind of pushed into, from a legal perspective, pushed into approving the ETF. It's a very begrudging statement, and it's not nice, I don't think.
He's not nice. Let's face it. This guy, in my opinion, well, who knows? But, it sure looks like he just pushed this off until they pumped the market really, really high, and then finally approved it, and begrudgingly as it is. And the market appears to be at a point where it's so high that it's not, you know what I mean? We'll see what happens, but.
Yeah, I mean, a pullback was a little bit inevitable, so I hope he's not going to jump on the back of that. I mean, it was to be expected. Bitcoin's risen, from 15 to 45, 46,000. It's going to get a bit of a pullback. That's absolutely normal. Markets don't move in straight lines. And again, it was expected from an Elliott wave perspective, just from a traditional TA perspective. You'd think, we have it again, we say again, this buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. That's exactly what's happened. I didn't expect it so much in this case, because I do think there's some flow into Bitcoin, but clearly there's got to be some profit taking after that. I mean, people have made so much money, haven't they, in this run up? So there's got to be some profit taking. I mean, here's Bitcoin, and this is a relatively short term view. If you look on the daily, look at that. It's almost parabolic, the move up in Bitcoin, that the profits people must have made. Absolutely phenomenal. So, it's only natural to get a bit of a pullback, and we'll probably see. I'll just show you on Solana, for example. This is quite interesting. I'll zoom out a little bit on Solana, just so as you can see some of the, how I've got this charted, what my expectations are. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit more. And this appears to me, one little bit more. We'll zoom out there. Yeah. So basically, you can see. From the bottom, we've had we're in the process, it appears, of an impulsive move higher, which is in 5 waves, a big 5 waves in this in the blue box. Wave 1, wave 2 pullback, and then wave 3 itself is also made up of 5 waves, because they're what are called fractals, like Russian dolls, a doll within a doll kind of thing. So we've seen the wave 1 up, 2 down in blue, but then within it, the next wave is made up of 5 waves. So we can see it 1, 2, 3. And look at that 3. It's perfect, 2.618. That's, the 618 is the golden ratio, and this is a very common Fibonacci extension for a strongly extended move, and that's what we've seen here. Very, very precise to that line. Then we get a pullback, ABC pullback, wave 4, then a 5th wave up in red, which gives us a larger 3rd wave higher. Now we're pulling back in a 4th wave, and this looks as though it might be what's called a triangle. It's one of the most predictive moves that we see in technical analysis, in Elliott wave terms, and it's also what is called a bull flag, where you get basically a flagpole. And again, you can see from the left-hand side a very strong flag to the upside, then flagpole, sorry, to the upside here. Then you get a flag waving in the wind. This is called a bull flag because it's what's called a pre-terminal wave, this flag here, and it comes before a terminal thrust, they call it, to the upside, which is normally a very powerful thrust out of this triangle. So we may have a bit more sideways movement to go. And whilst we've got a little bit of uncertainty, hopefully those uncertainties in the geopolitical world might be smoothed out sooner rather than later, we hope. And as we say, it's an election year. It's not a guarantee, but let's hope things smooth over a little bit and we get some more pump in risk assets. This is looking like a prime setup for another pump in the market. So as I say, some more sideways, possibly slightly downward movement to come to complete this wave. And then after that, we could get a terminal thrust to the upside, which could be really aggressive. So again, potentially, I'm looking to position with really good risk reward. Obviously, you put stop losses in place to protect yourself, but there's good potential there. And final couple of assets. I mean, here's, we did say again, we're expecting a bit of a pullback on Litecoin, precisely what we've seen. But again, following some pullback, we would expect further upside to come on Litecoin.
Yeah.
And finally, I'm just going to touch. I'm not really shilling this, but it's just interesting. I think that it's followed our expectations. This is the eVay token itself.
eVay.io. We love this platform that you guys are updating. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it is actually a game changer because the technology that we're developing, AI technology, machine learning technology, it isn't biased. It's completely unbiased because it uses this AI technology to rate assets, and we're rating it using traditional financial theory back from many, many years ago from Nobel Prize winners, and we're implementing that using the very latest AI machine learning technology. So it's totally unbiased and it's a way to find the real value of assets. And as I say, when you see the upgrade next week, I'm going to tell you all about it and how to use it, and it can really help you navigate the markets in a successful way. But people, maybe a bit of news is leaking out because we got a 31.9% gain yesterday alone in the token. And it's only available on PancakeSwap. We're not even out on centralized exchanges yet. That's coming in the near future. But for now,
how do you like that bull flag?
Yeah, this is amazing. It is a kind of bull flag, but it's actually perfect because we've got 5 waves up, impulsive. We've got 3 waves back, which again was predicted in advance. I said to people, we're likely to come back towards, I was thinking this 0.786 retracement here, and we almost touched it, and then we're beginning to push to the upside. So I would hope, and again, there's no guarantees, but I would hope that we'll soon exceed this impulsive wave here. Price will push higher. So I am expecting more money to come in, especially as news releases come out about the upgrades on the platform, and actually also important collaborations that we have with some major institutions coming up. So there's some real potential opportunity. Again, I'm not giving any guarantees or shilling. I'm just saying there's a great opportunity here. It's relatively low liquidity, so price can pump quite easily. So it's a really interesting one. So that's just a handful of cryptocurrencies there and other assets. And as I say, for me, probably the most interesting thing that we've seen is this massive pump in US dollar, not based off US dollar economic news, but based off risk at the moment. But I'm only expecting this to be an A, a B, and a C, and the C wave probably won't go that much higher. We might get a push to maybe 104 on dollar index, but then I think we're going to resume downside for the time being on dollar index, which will be positive risk assets. So what I'm saying is generally risk assets, maybe a little bit more downside, but when dollar index, if and when it tops out, and normally, by the way, I would think it would turn somewhere in the region of the previous wave 4. That's the typical sort of guideline. So if it turns around that level, 104, that would be quite typical. So it just means a little bit more weakness, perhaps in risk assets, before we could then get a really nice pump and, you know, a real good blow off, well, towards the upside anyway, for risk assets. So we won't go into all the other assets, probably enough for today, but happily talk around that, Bruce. Very exciting day for crypto, I think, yet again, with the opportunities there and potential for gains that will take you years in conventional assets.
Years in conventional assets, right? I'll tell you that Litecoin, you never know. Of course, these are high risk assets that we talk about here, but that looks like a pretty nice entry point to me, as well. Not to just brush by your Eve token, but that appears to have hit its bottom, and you guys are still working on it. That's what I tell people a lot about these projects. If the team is still working and they're still pushing it forward, and it's a project that's been around for a little while and then it's bottomed out, sometimes this upside is just absolutely very dramatic.
I mean, that's what's really interesting. A lot of these tokens that have suffered, and Eve has been one of those that has really suffered, because but now we've got the dev working really, pulling all in the same direction. So it's absolutely fantastic what they're doing, what they're delivering. And as I say, we recently won an international hackathon based on the tech that we're developing. And this is based on Nobel Prize winning academic research that is being implemented using the very latest AI machine learning technology. So the potential is certainly there for Eve to leap ahead. And what is interesting, what I was really trying to say was that we've been building during the bear market. Right. And that is really one of the signs of a token, particularly up and coming tokens, that when other people are struggling to survive, we're just focusing on building. And we've managed to, bring investment and continue to apply investment to the development and the tech side of it. And we've got the brains behind it. We've got an amazing tech team here, quite a big, extensive research and development team that are working on it. So building during the bear market is key, because then when the bull market comes, you built the foundations and the growth is then to come. So that's what we've been doing. And I think you've been doing a little bit the same with Global Boost, haven't you? Building during the bear market.
Indeed, that's what you do. You build in the bear market, and then when these things pop, it's really fun. You can do 100x on these things, and again, we're not saying that's going to happen, but it does happen. You can do 100x, you can do, or 50x, or 37x, and let's face it, even 10 or 20x's can be life changing at sometimes.
So what I do, and what I know a lot of very successful people do in terms of investment with crypto in particular, you've got the big assets, the big market cap ones, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like BNB, like Solana, like XRP, because they're too different, as we said. But these big market cap tokens, they're the ones that use traditional trading techniques, technical analysis, fundamental analysis. That's what gives you the direction. You can trade those actively. But the small tokens with low market cap, you're looking for opportunities. So real potential future growth opportunities. They're not ones where you pile all of your money. It's just you can splatter a bit of money, throw a bit of money against the wall to some of these smaller tokens, because when they do come right, they're those 100x opportunities. Yes. Whereas you get Bitcoin right from here, you might see 2x. It could easily see 2x. But with these smaller market cap ones, you don't put too much to it because they are high risk opportunities. But you can be seeing potentially 100x, even more. I've seen a couple. I've been involved in a couple, actually, done really well out of them. And so they're the ones that you're looking for the needle in the haystack. It's not the big market cap asset. So there are two kind of trading bags that I have: the active trading, which is the big ones, and the bespoke trading, which is the little opportunities, the needles in the haystack.
Interesting. Yeah, and it's like I always say to people as well, don't put all your money in. People, how much money should I buy, or how much? Don't put something in where if it goes bad, you're going to be, in a bad situation, or you're going to be mad or something like that, because this is investing. These are high risk assets. A lot of them are the liquidity it's in and out.
I'm not a gambler, Bruce. I'm not a gambler, but the one time I bet on a horse race, there's a horse race with I think it's about 8 horses in the race, and I was just a student, and I was walking past the betting window, and there's a horse called Student's Choice. So I just put my money on £1 on Student's Choice, and it came in something like, well, it was actually two times I've done. So that one, I won 20-1 on Student's Choice, which is just one lucky one. But another time, after that win, I saw a horse race again with about 7 or 8 horses in, and I put £1 on every horse in the race, and an outsider came in. And that's the sort of strategy I'm looking at with these small, low cap ones. I'm not looking at throwing loads of money at it. I just put at the time, this was obviously many years ago, I'm an old man now, many years ago when I was a boy at university, put £1 on every horse, and a big odds one came in. And that's what you do with these small tokens, because you can get 100x. You don't have to put all your money into it, but you can look for some attractive potential assets. And yeah, that's it. That's an interesting way to go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, with these times that we have right now, these are volatile times as well. You know, like we talked about with what's going on in the Red Sea. I don't think that the Red Sea is going to be a very good shipping lane for a while, you know, for the foreseeable future. And that is a very, it's used by a lot of people. If you look actually today, I'll share my screen just a little bit. And I know we talked about quite a few other things, but if you look at the crude oil today, crude oil is up a bit, 73. Okay, is what it's now going at. Now, if you go out on this, we're still down here. You know, you go 6 months or a year, you know, almost 9% down on the year. So there's a lot of room here to move up, and I feel like that has to move. That's gonna move, and we're gonna feel that.
So what that's really telling us is that it's expectations on the world economic growth. So when there's a decline in growth expectations, you'll see oil price come down. And actually, quite interestingly, when you look at the Dow Industrials and the Dow Transportations, that's actually a bit of a warning sign, because Dow Transportations isn't at an all-time high, whereas Dow Industrials is. And that's actually seen as quite a negative, because it's kind of accepted within the world of economics and so on, that, you know, obviously if you're manufacturing things, they've got to be transported somewhere. So you would expect Dow Transports to be hitting all-time highs when the Dow Industrials is, and it's not. So that bit of divergence is, again, a little bit of a warning sign. So we are seeing signs of a slowdown, and that oil price you just showed is a sign that the economic outlook is beginning to slow. And I told you the other day, there's a lot of signs out there telling us recession is coming, but they will do all they can in this election year to ensure we don't have recession hitting. So they will do what they can to support it. But there's so many pressures going on, as you say, the Red Sea. And I know Israel is still a big importer of oil. Israel, and they've had to get oil from other sources than they had previously. They're a massive gas producer, one of the biggest now. They found some massive gas finds, which wasn't the case a few years ago. But they're still dependent on, believe it or not, on Russia for oil to a large extent.
Coming through Turkey, I think, right? They have a big, a large part of it. So it's interesting, you know, wars like that. You have all of these different factions. You'll have a full blown out war, but they're still selling energy to each other. Crazy. It's crazy. So the other thing I wanted to show was the gold prices. Of course, you know, we have our new partners there at Cost Metals, and so I wanted to pull up the gold, because the gold, I think this correlates directly with your DXY pump of the US dollar. And you can see gold, I mean, it just took a slight dive here. Now, gold doesn't move like crypto and oil and stuff like that for the most part. So, but you see 0.5% is somewhat significant. And then if you just kind of go out on this, we're up 4% on the 5 day. So it's a pretty nice move on the 6 month, 2.5. And then on the one, in this, that's the 6 month. 86% on
No, that's 86. So it's plus 4.4%.
It's this one that's the nice. So on the 1 year, 7%. But you know, I talk about it sometimes, and I'd like to get kind of your take on it as well. But I feel like when the central banks are trying to remove money from the market, a lot of times they'll take it out of these commodities. They'll crash the different commodities and
quite
take the money out
interestingly, the central banks have actually been accruing gold, so they're potentially seeing risk in the world. So obviously, when there's risk, gold is seen as a safe haven. Although during the 2008 financial crash, gold actually declined during that crash. So still, there's always a reallocation of assets. I think that no matter what happens, if there's trouble, money flows into gold. So at the moment, things are looking reasonably good for gold. But if we're expecting trouble around the corner, I actually think there'll be a pullback in everything. So I think treasuries, US treasuries would be the place to be if that happens. And then following that decline, I think that will be the time then to pile into Bitcoin, because then they're going to do crazy money printing. So there's a cycle here that we can look at. And as long as we understand that cycle, so after that, we're going to get the crazy money printing coming in again to try to support the economy. And that could even be this year. And if that happens, it's to support the economy in the election year, etc., to pump the economy. So you get that, when you see that pump, because I don't think it'll be the same this time around. We've had it during 2008. We had it during COVID. Didn't really have a great, massively positive effect. And it has less and less of an effect every time you do it. So third time round, I don't think it's going to have such a beneficial effect. And that's when people will start to realize this isn't the way to grow the economy. And maybe they should be putting their money in Bitcoin as a safe haven, digital gold. And I think that's what's going to happen. Happily go into that with the charts and tell you exactly what's going to happen and what I expect. But I'm going to have to run because I've got another engagement. But lovely to spend time with you, and look forward to delving into this further tomorrow, Bruce and David and all your viewers.
Amazing, sir. Matt, thanks so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure. Make sure to check him out on MD Trade on X, MD Trade, as well as Eve_IO. I put out a post as well as you took on there with his tags. And we'll see you tomorrow, brother. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks, David. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for your insight, Matt.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.
So I wanted to play a couple of things here. We have Vivek. He drops out of the race last night. Pretty interesting. I mean, this guy, like you said, slick talker, everything else. He's a smart guy, and the cards are not. He's not going to win, and so he's out. So you got to have a little bit of you got to have some respect for the guy. At least he knows when to hold him and know when to fold him, right? So you have Haley, Nikki Haley, everyone, she loves the war, everything else. And she's staying in, of course. DeSantis staying in. These people have really no chance of winning the nomination, in my opinion. But here's Vivek. Just 1 minute. Let's hear what he has to say last night.
Tonight, the first hard truth, and this one's hard for me. I got to admit this. But we've looked at it every which way, and I think it is true that we did not achieve the surprise that we wanted to deliver tonight. And I think that that's just a hard fact that we're going to have to accept as a campaign. And the question then is, what do we do that is right for our country? And so Purv and I, we actually didn't make this contingency plan before everybody told us to. We said, no, we're not doing that. But we talked about it tonight. We took a little bit of time in our apartment in Des Moines before coming here to make some hard choices. And I wanted to make a couple of announcements tonight to get the business out of the way. And then I want to tell you where we're going. As of this moment, we are going to suspend this presidential campaign. And this is going to have to be, there's no path for me to be the next president absent things that we don't want to see happen in this country. And I think that
So pretty interesting. Like I said, he's a smart guy. Seems to be a bit of a class act. Certainly grew on me here. Just to show you this as well. So this was I guess this was the final results from what I understand. Trump was over, let's see, 56. He had 32,000 votes, over 32,000 above DeSantis there. Of course, Nikki Haley right behind. Nikki Haley's an interesting one because she really is loathed by most of the electorate, and they push her though. They're pushing her. So Vivek's out, and then Asa, I don't even know who this person is. I guess that's to be expected. So we have Nikki, DeSantis, and Trump. Of course, if you talk to different people, I mean, it's really hard to believe kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it feels funny, doesn't it, David?
Which aspect?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, Trump is the clear front runner, right?
Of course.
But with everybody going after him so hard, everybody's after him. I don't know. I mean, we've been through this a few times. It feels different.
Well, it certainly feels different. And the things that you do are never the same the second time around. And this is his third time around now. And it's interesting that he kept the same message. There hasn't been too much change in his message. And it's, of course, still working. And we see this push for DeSantis, but when he, I know that they forced him into saying that he wouldn't run for presidency and he'd focus on Florida, but he's not focused on Florida. So it's interesting to see his position and that he doesn't want to leave the limelight, and to prop Nikki Haley up there is, I think that's also for the limelight, and it definitely has a weird feel to it, and everybody is praying and hoping that things are going to turn out all right.
Yeah, that's the deal, right? So it is, I mean, it's kind of funny. Well, it's big money. It is big money. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And when a candidate drops out of these things, they get to keep the money. And a lot of people, they just, they don't realize that. And yeah, sure, it's supposed to be used on this, that, or the other. It's not like it goes into their own personal bank account. But they basically get to keep the money.
Right.
Now, this is, they, you know what I mean? Whether they get to use it on this, that, or the other.
Yeah, they can host their events. They can stay at their business quarters and have fun doing it.
And not only have fun doing it, but fuel things for the next campaign, support the candidates that they want, all of these types of things. And so,
which does make it an interesting play for Vivek. I know we're not done seeing him. He's going to be a popular guy throughout the year.
He's popular.
And yeah, he has a strong voice, a strong opinion. And of course, like you said, you grew to like him. Even Trump threw some kind words to him, and he promotes the good message. So we're not done seeing him, even though he has suspended his campaign.
Yeah, you're right. We're not done seeing Vivek. He's going to continue, and I think it seems like he's going to be a force for good. So, sometimes, guys, it's like I always said, the why sometimes is not important. The why sometimes is not as important as the facts, okay? And if the facts are that this guy's on our team and he's working with us, then he's on our team and he's working with us and he's going to help us win, or you win, or however that works, then I think you look at it that way. So really interesting stuff as well going on in Davos. We have the World Economic Forum, the meeting of all of those people that you love to hate.
Yeah.
They're all there drinking caviar and hiring hookers
Skiing. They're probably skiing.
Scheming on their hostile takeover of the civilized world. Actually, they've already taken over.
Yeah, they've been taken over.
You just don't know it yet. So the supervillain Klaus Schwab has been saying one of the things. Of course, I don't have that video queued up. I have Klaus queued up. I'm going to play him here in a second. But two funny things. One, of course, just saw some report that all of the hookers were booked for this week, which of course they are. And that's why I tell people too, guys, they're never going to get rid of cash. They're never going to get rid of cash. Don't worry, because these guys aren't going to be able to pay for their fun times.
I'm not
Get rid
gonna
of cash.
put them out there like that. I'm sure everything is fine.
All right, you're right. I take that back. They would never do anything like that. Here's Klaus. This is the guy, Klaus. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm excited to check out some of the speeches and some of the progress that's been going on there.
Yeah, he's well, I think the overall sentiment is that we are getting in the way of their plans.
Yes, this is what we do best.
Let's take a look at what Klaus, the world's foremost supervillain, has to say here.
Those deeply transformative challenges, which are actually the cornerstone of our program, lead to uncertainty, generalized fear, and pessimism. They force us into a mode of short-term crisis management at the detriment of long-term strategic and sustainable solutions. This reactionary approach undermines our collective faith in the future. And here we losing the faith of our future, we risk to become much more ego-centered and on a national and individual level. To break this cycle, we need a paradigm shift. We must rebuild trust, and that's actually the theme of our meeting. We have to rebuild trust. Trust in our future, trust in our capacity to overcome challenges, and most importantly, trust in each other.
Trust. We
How
have to
long
rebuild the trust.
How long do you think he worked on that voice? I mean,
These peons, these peasants, they're trying to stop us. We must rebuild the trust. He's got the supervillain thing really down. I mean, one day I'm sure we'll probably meet him, and he probably, it's like one of those things. Used to hate Bill Clinton, but I always knew if I met that guy, he always seemed like a pretty nice guy. You'd
He's
like
cool.
to sit with him and have a beer. You know what I mean? I don't know if it'd be the same with Klaus.
Oh,
He's like
man.
the world's foremost supervillain. Him, and then you got Bill Gates,
Yep.
Obama.
You put Soros in there?
Oh yeah, you can't forget Soros. All these guys, they want to they literally want to reduce the human population by 2/3 or more. They want to get rid of billions and billions of people.
Yep, and it's on camera. They're on stage on camera.
They say it right there. I mean, it's well, and even Ted, the old CNN guy, Ted or whatever, he dropped it one time. He said, well, about 6 billion less would be good. Be a good number. Leave $1 billion, I guess, or 2.
It was easier for them before the internet and all of our communications. They could get things done, and you wouldn't find out till weeks later what happened, and then
it would be one report, and only 5% of the people would see it, and then you would be like really chastised for even talking about it.
Your response would take this much longer to get back, and by then everything is already said, done, and moving forward. So now that we are all connected, and they call this this era that we've been going through, the awakening, and yeah, everybody sees clearly what's happening. So big
they even let guys like us on TV.
Yeah, it's so much fun, man.
It is fun. So we're doing this now. Of course, this is our Money in the Morning show. We're doing our Porter Brothers show as well at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Same stations in Texas and Louisiana, and of course on our partners, Crypto Cakes, on our Washington Elite channel, on our Networks Manager, on our LinkedIn, all that stuff. Really focusing on how to grow and how to win during these crazy times that we have here.
That's what it's all about, winning, right? You go and you do your best, you go your hardest, and it's all about that end feeling of catching a win.
It's catching the wind. And we talked about it a bit with Matt as well. Like you want to ride the waves, right? You don't want to ride the waves with your whole bag, okay? But if this is going to pump, then that one's going to pump, and then this one's going to pump. If you take some and you ride that wave and you diversify and stuff like that, it can really work out well for you. And at a certain time in history, we may be pulling all the strings again, but right now other people are pulling the strings, and so they have the playbook. They know when they're going to crash things. They know when they're going to do things more than you. We can chart things out. Charting is really interesting, and that's why we'd love to have Matt on, because charting is really, really interesting. Because a lot of times the major picture, you don't know why the chart's going to work out, but it does. And whether it's like it's some black swan event, or it's war, or it's some strikes or something like that, the charts seem to work out. It's one of those things that is it's pretty interesting. So I wanted to, again, just real quick, I'm going to share my screen here again, because I just wanted to show some of this. I got some more stuff in here on the some more shots of this bombing of the Mossad base. This is going to be pretty interesting. I know that's Klosh. That's Klosh. Let me throw on my pictures here. Wrong one. This one. Yes, look at this.
Man.
That is serious. Look at that. That is a real missile. So they bombed the heck out of that, what they're calling a Mossad base there. Big heightening of, there's another photo of it there. Big heightening. I mean, Iran now is like officially dropping bombs. They've been kind of, through proxies and stuff like that. I think that, it's like one of my favorite colonels there said, Colonel McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
We are not we're not in the same position we were 20 years ago. And if Iran and Turkey and everybody else over there decides that they're mad at us and they want to get rid of the state of Israel, then we're going to have a hard time over there. And we need to work with people. And that's people. We're not always going to agree with everybody. Look at what we do. Look at what Trump did when he became president. What did he do? He went around. First of all, he worked with Congress that he had, and then he went around everywhere, right? He went to Israel. He did the Wailing Wall. He went to Saudi Arabia. He did the dancing around. You saw him with the sword. He touched the round ball. What was that round ball anyway? Remember that?
North Korea.
He went to North Korea, which was another big news today. Kim Jong-un has now taken off any hope of reunifying with South Korea.
Sure, I think that was Longstead.
Well, he's been, they've been like
Yeah.
pushing the stuff forward.
I know.
Everybody's so they love to pound their chests. Stop pounding your chest and start thinking about peace.
Yeah,
Now,
start shaking hands, huh?
Start shaking hands, David says. And that's right. That is absolutely correct. All right, we have about 5 minutes left here. I want to talk about real quick at Cost Metals, at costmetals.club. I want you to check that out at Cost Metals. I want you to see one of the things here that we're working on, this MS70 coin at costmetals.club. Make sure you check it out. I'm going to share my screen here. If you bought this thing every year since 1986, this is a pretty interesting setup here. Here we go. I think it's right here. Boom. You get one of these per month on the Coin of the Month plan. You sign up for free at that at costmetals.club, and then we'll help you. Check this out. Boom. Bam. That's us at costmetals.club. You need cash, you need crypto, you need property, you need precious metals, gold and silver. This was the constitutional mandate. This is what you were supposed to use per our Constitution before they put us on paper money back in 1864 and started this corporation that we're in now. People say we're a democracy, we're a republic, not a democracy. We're a corporation.
Yeah, it's true. And gold and silver is your sound money that we're supposed to use.
We're supposed to use it. You can get it at cost and at Cost Metals. Join us on that. They'll be accepting Global Boost probably very soon as well, which is going to make us a very nice move. So make sure you get some of that too. Signing off, guys. was a great show. Sir David?
Thank you very much, Bruce. We love everybody. See you soon.